with that little green path that they carved out, and you're connecting to Mulberry. So, on the back side of the property, they join each other, that one street. So, I know there's already a plan for the Mulberry Park, which we seamlessly kind of work the whole thing together. We actually go, well, you know, probably because that is our house, we don't probably, and I don't know how you get it. Another thing, there's a pump house down here in the lot. You go to the property right on the island. Okay. That would be another. Yep. Entry point. I live in Quail Crossing. I already mapped it out. I'm like, I can do Randy, yeah, okay, yeah. We played both around the neighborhood in a dog park. I don't know how we're doing, but when we first were building, Randy was like at our building, like every day, including my husband. I know Randy well. You know Bob? I don't know Bob, I'm not gonna lie up. Wow. Yep. Welcome to my star here. I don't know. Hey, Jerry, good. How you doing? Everybody treat you good? Everything good on the farm? If I win the lottery, I'm buying an active farm and keeping the people there. I just want to live on it. I don't know nothing about it.
These places.
We got plenty of land right here. It's always nice when they appreciate it. You can't tell them they want to stay there and do the thing. A lot of them want to take off and adventures. Exactly. But you can have adventures on the farm every day.
Right.
Sometimes you can take my seat. Where are you in Quail Crossing? I am, do you know where the Nunley live? I'm at the House Society. Oh, I'm the Greenhouse Society. Oh, okay. Well, tell Rich I said hello. I will. You know, I live next to them. I only run into them when we go to events. Like I took my mom to the opera last weekend. And I had a feeling he was there, and I texted him. Sure enough, he was there.
James, make us proud. Keep the candy out of your mouth before you do the prayer.
Hello. Thank you so.
Stop keeping us busy. Give us a break for at least 2 days. Look, tomorrow.
I'm going on vacation.
Oh, Lord. When are you going on vacation?
May. Hello, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for attending. It is 5:55, and I am going to call to order the special called meeting on the first agenda. May I ask Councilmember James to say the prayer?
Be glad to.
Thank you.
Let's bow our heads, please. Our gracious Heavenly Father, bless the day that you've given us to live, Lord, in your world and your city, under your guidance. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. May I ask resident, I don't see him, oh, there he is, Ross Billingsley to do this Pledge of Allegiance, please? Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ross. So this is one item on the special called meeting. It's the calendar update. If you recall, in January, that's all I need. In January, we approved the city council and regular session, public hearing, and the voting session calendar for the year. Well, we were inaccurate about the dates because it was conflicting with the Women's Civic Club. So that's our mistake. So there is a revised schedule out. Jen is showing it on the screen now. There's all kinds of red lines on it. Remember, the goal here was give the council some time in between development and us reviewing any comments before we did voting. So we moved it out like a week. In some cases, that's going to still happen. In other cases, it's not going to happen, just because of the schedule conflicts. This is a very popular room, so. So with that said, we'll need to ask the council if there's a motion to approve the new schedule as shown up here on the screen and in your packet.
Can make a motion to approve.
Okay. Thank you, JJ. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Sterling. All in favor? Okay, great. The new schedule then is approved. And with that, I am going to adjourn the special called meeting, and we're going to go right into the regular session meeting.
Unfortunately, Madam Mayor, we were so quick, we gotta wait 2 minutes because we can't start till
Yep, okay. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I didn't figure we'd get through any meeting in 5 minutes.
Oh, so I do need to ask for adjournment, motions. There is a motion to adjourn, please. Thank you, Tina. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
And there is 2 seconds. You pick which one, Jen, you want, JJ or Scott? All in favor of adjourning the special called meeting? Okay, great, thank you. Now the meeting is adjourned. Now we'll wait 2 minutes.
Details.
One minute and counting. By the way, it's better that you make that mistake than keep calling me Mayor Debbie Brown. Again, it's on the agenda this
Is it really?
for the third month in a row.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. So our cousin came, Debbie Brown. I said, I'm not buying that excuse anymore, go change your template.
Oh, we don't think something's going on.
No, it's with Tina, it's not this brand.
Oh, we get even more interested.
Oh, boy, here we go. Okay, everyone, it is 6 o'clock, and I'd like to call to order the regular scheduled, session. First on the agenda is agenda approval. Council, do you have any changes to the agenda? No changes? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve
Thank-
the agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Sterling. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Scott. All in favor of the agenda approval? Great, thank you. Okay, I'm hoping that you're gonna really enjoy the next section of our scheduled meeting. We are gonna go into, mayor, council, and staff reports. This will include, my input and all the committees, and of course, city staff. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with, my quick information for you. I just want to let you all know that, the survey, I don't know if you came to the survey results at my last mayor Q&A. Kroger has also asked us for the survey results regarding food and retail. So I have provided those, results to them, and we are actually meeting with them on Monday, the council is, in separate times, of course. They would like to know what we would like to see at their area that they're building out, the Kroger and all the retail and food. I love the fact that they've asked us for our input. So I just wanted to share that with you, so we'll be giving them some input. Last week, City Manager Jennifer and I, we interviewed 7 people for the Planning and Zoning Commission. We have one more to interview, correct? Is that next week?
Yes, ma'am.
Next week, and then we will go to the next steps of selecting who's gonna be on the commission. So I just wanna keep you up to date on that. Still looking for applicants. If you're interested, love to get your application for that. Jennifer and I are meeting tomorrow with, DCA, which is Department of Community Affairs, we want to look at some grants. Specifically, I'm going to target grants this time, well, we're always looking for money. So this particular meeting tomorrow is to see if we can get a grant for the Mulberry House, and also if it's possible to get a grant for what is now known as the Garden, AKA Larry's Garage. So we'll be working with them tomorrow. Dr. Sterling has another update later in her area that we'll also talk to the DCA about tomorrow. I'll let you talk about that, okay?
Okay, okay. Oh, okay,
Okay.
okay.
I also want to mention to you that, Councilmember Dave Brown and I and Jennifer, we met with, a group called Gainesville Hall Metropolitan Planning Organization, also known as GHMPO, Ben, for you. They do maintenance and planning and they do all kinds of things. They have targeted Gainesville, but they have now reached out to Jackson County. We met with them last week. They don't provide grants, but what they do provide is help in design, and the best thing about that is they pay 20%, they pay 80%. We only pay 20. That's a deal you can't miss. So we are working with them now, and I'm really excited about that. And the last thing I want to mention to you, maybe you read it in the paper, Jennifer and I met with Councilmember Dave Brown and Jerry Hood. I want to re-look at the parking deck. So we have asked that the ground be tested, and also, Councilmember Dave Brown, you know, he's an engineer, so he came up with kind of a different idea for the parking deck and to look at that design. So I want to see if we can bring that back to life, and then, of course, we'll go after grants for that. We're always looking for grants for that, though. So those are my mayor updates, and what we're gonna do is go down the line with each council member, and we are gonna start over here on my left, Scott Corder on the DDA.
Thank you.
The DDA, actually on the 12th, which is Monday, I'll actually hopefully be approved to be appointed to the DDA. I've had the opportunity to meet with the chair and the vice chair to sit on that, so I think it's been pretty much a given. We actually have started to try to create a Houston marketing PDF file that we can bring out so we can start to show people what we're doing inside the city. Hopefully that'll help us get more people coming to the city. Actually stolen it from Chandler, Arizona, had something that I found online, and spent the time that we're in the process of recreating that document. That document will hopefully help us bring businesses and actually tell a better story of what Houston is and where Houston's headed, which helps us then get working on the vision and mission statement for the city as well as for the DDA. We met with Mark, talked to Mark multiple times prior to becoming onto the city council, but spoke with Mark Comey again in regards to the demographics, what other businesses we could look at, kind of matching where the survey is. Like the mayor said, we're meeting with Kroger on Monday to hear a little bit where their plans are, and they're willing to listen to what our plans are too, hopefully. We had the opportunity to meet with the developer of the new Italian restaurant. That was be the same person who is developing the garden. So we got a tour, the mayor for Pendergrass, myself, and the gentleman who's the developer there. We all took a tour the other day through there. It's really awesome. Good centerpiece for the city. I want to thank previous council for putting a lot of that work together. I know Mr. Lawson has spent a lot of time on that prior, as well as when Ms. Martin was on council also, so it's been a long time coming. There's a lot of people probably to thank inside the city. I've had the opportunity to speak to a couple of business owners that are in the city. I won't tell you who they are at this point because we're still doing it, but I'm working with two of them to potentially possibly get involved more with the DDA. Also, myself and Mayor Martin had the opportunity to walk around, drop off little packages of candy to all the local businesses here. We only got we didn't get very far the first day. We got probably about 6 of them done, because it was fun to go in there. It took about 2.5 hours to get through 6 businesses.
Plus, I was shopping, by the way, while we were in
No.
the stores.
We had to stop for some
Shop local.
shopping. But we went to all the little businesses, and it was great for them to kind of see us to get to meet them. We're all relatively new, so it was good to, I guess, for them to see a face. We left their business cards. Actually, a few of them want to meet. They have some ideas on how, but we need these small businesses to continue and help the city grow. So that's what we did. We also had the opportunity, I've been over to a couple of times over to the Mulberry Park site just to walk it, get a vision. Actually, when we met with the developer of the garden, kind of walked outside, we started to talk about how it all tied together as the city starts to develop. It's kind of the quick analysis of it. Hopefully, after I sit on the DDA for a little bit of time and get to meet with Dr. Kumar and Ms. Tracy and the rest of the group, we can give you a lot more updates, but that's where we're headed. So that. Great.
So next, I'd like to go to Dr. Sterling for community outreach.
All right, good afternoon. My report is the Community Alliance report, and last month on the 23rd of January, I met with members of the Houston Women's Civic Club, and the group made the decision to offer a scholarship to a deserving student who will be a senior for the 2024 school year. And this scholarship is to a college or a technical school of their choice. I sent email to the counselors at Jackson County High School, and I found out, I didn't know this, that there's another high school, East Jackson, to share our scholarship opportunity. On Monday, February 5th, I met with Tony Doyle, who's a counselor at Jackson County High School, and we discussed how we're going to get the scholarship application out. Already have the application done. I gave her a copy. The deadline to apply is going to be March 29th. She's going to post it at their school. I'm waiting to hear from East Jackson at the present. I sent them an email because I got email addresses from her. There will be an interview process conducted by the Women's Civic Group. We're going to do that in April. And the scholarship is going to be awarded before graduation, possibly at their Honors Day program. I didn't know that they had an Honors Day program, but they do. Graduation is going to be on a Saturday in May, second Saturday in May. So, we've got to, get moving. I'm in the process right now of getting flyers made to be distributed at local churches. And the amount of the scholarship will be determined at our next scholarship meeting, which is the fourth Tuesday of this month. So I'll have more to report for you at our next meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Sterling.
You're welcome. Oh, and I forgot that Mayor Martin and I talked about a potential job fair, for the city of Houston. So we're in the works and talking to some other people so they can help us put that together.
Yeah. And that's the DCA. We're going to ask them tomorrow. When I ask them for money, I also want to ask them if they could help us with putting together. That's a wide net we have to throw out, obviously, right? So we'll see if we can get them to help us as well. That's very exciting. There's lots of people in our community that need work, want to change work, and I'm very excited to be supporting you on that role. Okay, Councilmember Tina Brown, please. Parks and Recs.
I assume my mic's working this time. I think I hear it. Okay. So I've spent the last month just kind of learning the scope of my role as committee person for Parks and Rec. Sent a ton of emails, got prompt, thorough responses from the city manager and the mayor, and I appreciate that. I met with the city manager and the city finance director on January 30th and got myself a lot more educated. It's exciting. I am super excited to be on this committee. I just can't tell you. As a matter of fact, I really paid attention to the January 25th Houston Insights that were presented by Mark, and is his last name Koyman? Koyman, thank you. There was a lot there that just really spoke to me, that like the bottom four descriptions of Houston were a scenic outdoor community within that bottom four and an environmentally anchored community. So, and the top 5 weaknesses included parks, walking paths, and recreational facilities. And so then he found and reported to us that 3 of the actions for positive growth and development could directly be addressed through parks and recreation, a robust plan in that area. That people want to preserve the small town feel and personality. They want to preserve current farmland from conventional subdivision development. And they want to expand future parks, recreational space, and walking trails. So his presentation just screamed Parks and Rec are a big thing on the agenda of our citizens. One citizen comment was the city of Houston needs a heartbeat. And with that, we know that we have the 153 Mulberry Park property already acquired. There's a design. So we'll be moving forward with that. Excuse me, we have a matching grant to help. So that's in the works, of course. But the most exciting thing this evening on the work session, so it's public information, is the acquiring of another 17 acres for parks. And I personally want to thank, and I'm going to be bold and say I speak for the entire council and the entire city, thank you to the Blankenships for allowing the city to acquire this centrally located, beautiful piece of property and preserve it for parks and green space. We need it. It's an amazing, amazing thing that you're allowing us to acquire that. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. And if you haven't had a chance to look at the layout and everything, this is going to border the Mulberry property. And it'll give us a seamless, almost central park opportunity. It's just a fantastic central location. It's going to be accessible to everybody. It connects to Mulberry. I have lots of ideas about what we can do, what we want in the future, but I also want to solicit input from the public about ideas, because one person can't have them all, of course. So I'm thinking about maybe doing a survey once this land is closed on. And thinking about a committee. I don't know if we need to meet in person or what, but I want as much input as possible because of all the things that I'm thinking about. Just in the last month, people have thrown other things out there that I thought, that's fantastic. But I'm super, super, super excited about it. Thank you so much. And that's what we're working on.
That's a great update, thank you. Councilmember James Lawson.
Very good. As far as the cemetery is concerned, we were able to get the new black coating ceiling on, and the guys went around and put pine straw around our existing oak trees. So we were able to get that done last couple of weeks, and then we're kind of waiting until the weather warms up to have a good spring cleanup for the whole cemetery. Unfortunately, people bring flowers out and they just leave them forever, and we're going to get them all cleaned up, and we'll send out letters as we normally do to let people know when and what time that will be. That way they can go out and take off anything that's personal to them, and they can always put it back on. Okay? But that's what we've done in the past, and it's been very successful to have twice a year, one in the spring and then one in the fall. That way everything kind of looks good for the fall months also. But other than that, we still have mausoleum niches for sale, starting at $9.95 to the lower level. As you go up closer to heaven, they get more expensive, okay? So if anybody would like some of those, please see myself or Karen, and we'll be glad to help you, okay?
How many grave spots do you have with that?
We got 244 great lots. That means there's 2 spaces per lot. So basically, the way the cemetery had been designed, and it's really designed on the basis of the cemetery in Rose Hill, which is in Winder, is that one lot considers 2 graves. So when you purchase a grave lot, you're buying 2 spaces.
Oh.
You're not available, we don't have the availability right now to do a single space. And you really don't want to get into that because you get into more issues with deeds and also with permitting. Because everything is permitted through Jackson County.
I see.
Mm-hmm. So, but, I think we're okay for right now because most people are doing cremation versus in-ground burial. So it's just an option that they have. Just like last week, we were there digging a grave and we hit solid rock. That brings up another issue for the city. So we actually moved the grave to a grave that we know that we can dig. Because when you hit rock, and it's like part of Stone Mountain, because that vein runs from Stone Mountain all the way to Elberton.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. And it comes right through here.
You all never knew all that stuff just being on the cemetery committee, right? It's
I have a video of us digging the grave and hitting rock. That's not good. Yeah.
Fascinating.
And it can get expensive as far as excavating the rock. You don't do any blasting now because that cost of that. You don't get involved in that. So
anyway.
It's easier to move to another grave than use that one for something else.
Great update, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Dave Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. The mayor assigned me to what we're calling the 5 and 10-year projection study for the city of Houston. And my team members, I've got Dr. Jerry Weiss, who's really heading it up, Miss Tiffany Wheeler, who can't be here tonight, but she normally sits right over here next to Jen. We also have Mark Koyman. He's the gentleman that gave us some information about where our city's going in terms of what's available and did all the studies for us. Mayor Debbie Martin sits in a lot, so she's part of our team. Also, who comes in quite a bit to check on us and make sure we're going in the right direction is the city manager, Jennifer Harrison and myself. We put the objectives up of what we're trying to do. I can go through each one of them, but I'm going to be very brief. Right now, what we're trying to basically get is if we can sit and find out where our costs are and where our revenues are, we can put a plan together for our future 5 and 10-year areas and plan for the future. Right now, what we're doing is what we call part 1. We're getting all the data we can possibly get to generate where the revenue's coming from and so forth. We're doing things like going into each lot and finding out what the fee simple percentages would be and money's coming in, so we can do an evaluation once we get to where we think our expenditures are going to be. I've listed on there, if you could go to the next slide, please. I've listed on there where we're going to have what we call task, and I say we, I'm stealing a little bit of thunder from Dr. Weiss. He actually created about 99.8% of this slide. So we've got 7 basic tasks that's going to lead us towards collecting all the revenues that we can possibly get on there. And the ultimate goal for this is, if you can go to the last slide, is we're trying to get where our revenue sources are coming from for 5 years out and 10 years out. Once we collect all this data, we'll know where we're gathering our money and where, so forth. So the next goal is we're going to be looking at all of our expenditures, everything from what it costs the city to pay for our police force to what we do in terms of water supplies and where we have budgets for some of the projects we're talking about up here. Once we get that put together, we hope to go back to the council and the mayor. We're putting right now the June 24th, that's our time frame that we'd like to get back and present where our total costs and where our total revenues are coming from, so we can start projecting out our 5-year and 10-year plans. I will tell you, we're right now just collecting data, so if you have questions and you think, where do you think we're going and stuff, right now we have no real clue. We're just gathering the data and letting the data speak for us. We have found some things that kind of made our eyebrows go up a little bit, but everything's pointing in a good direction for the city.
Great summary. Thank you. I'd like to go to Councilmember J.J. Jackson for marketing and branding.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. As many of you may know, can y'all hear me okay? Yeah. As many of y'all may know, Councilman Corder and I are co-chairing the DDA as well as marketing and vision for Houston. I'll be covering the marketing and vision portion this evening. So when we think of marketing and vision, there's been multiple people at different city council meetings that have asked, who is Houston? What do we stand for? What do we take pride in? What's the direction that we're going in many aspects? And so that's what Councilman Porter and I have been discussing. So as we lay out our plan, we obviously, like many of the other council members have said, want as much public input as possible. We've got about, I think, 6 potential members right now. We're speaking or interviewing, if you will, others. We're looking to have 7 to 9 total. So if you know anybody that would be interested in something like that, would love to get their contact information. The reason that we want to have those 7 to 9 members is because we want to have people from all different parts of the city of Houston, from different neighborhoods, so that everybody feels that their input has been taken into consideration. My little brother and some of his friends work for one of the big streaming companies out there. They're involved in film and production, and I'm working on putting together a 1-minute video of Houston that captures everything that we're so proud of. So everything from local businesses to farmland to new businesses that are coming, potentially the beautiful property. Thank you again to the Blankenships. We want to have some citizens in that video, so I'd like to reach out to a couple of our veterans, would like to make sure we get them in there, Chief Hill as well. So working on that right now, and that'll be for our website, potentially on social media. Just a great way to really create our brand for who Houston is, which will benefit us in a lot of different ways. I think one of the biggest here, item 5, business owners within Houston, making sure that we're doing all that we can to make sure that their businesses thrive. And so I think one of the biggest benefits, for those of y'all that are familiar with Northeast Georgia Motorsports, they have a capture rate as far as revenue is concerned of, I think close to 400%. And what that means is that they're not only capturing a bunch of revenue from within Houston, they're also getting a ton of revenue from outside the city of Houston. And I'd like to see different businesses, businesses like The Garden, have a capture rate like that that's similar. So again, with our reputation, somebody sees a video like that on the internet and they say, let's go check out, a local restaurant in the city of Houston tonight, or an ice cream parlor, instead of going to, say, the Brewsters in some of these other cities. So we're speaking with business owners just like we are citizens to get their input. Let's see. Another one, we're meeting with economic growth leaders from different cities. So just like a lot of people up here have mentors from different cities, as you all have seen, we work closely with leaders from Brazelton, Pendergrass, other areas throughout Jefferson County. Scott and I are going to be working with different folks really within this greater area to understand how they've accomplished a lot of goals that he and I have in mind. He and I are also working on, when we think about, not only just, marketing and everything, this really ties into the vision of Houston. So putting together not only a PDF with, who we are, what we stand for, but also what we want the city to look like. So there's been a lot of citizens, rightly so, that have been concerned about businesses' curb appeal, as well as those of different neighborhoods developments. So Scott and I are speaking with all of these individuals about that. And then I think something that I'm most excited about, that I'm actually working on with Mayor Martin, it's a huge pet peeve for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
More so, Mayor Martin, her and I are working with the Georgia Department of Transportation to make sure that Houston goes on one of the exit signs on 85 north and south. It just kills me that you've got to drive through Houston and then another 10 miles to get to Winder, which is on those exit signs. And again, it would just be great for marketing and vision to have our name on those exit signs. Be great for a lot of different reasons. So that's what Councilman Corder and I have been working on, and I'll look forward to giving you all another update soon. Thank you, Mayor.
Great update. Thank you, Councilmember JJ. And last but certainly not least, we'll go to Jennifer for city update, or city report.
I just want to also express how fortunate we are at the city to have such a great board, a mayor and council. As you can tell, they have worked hard this month, and you'll just see that continuously grow. And I'm certainly proud of the board that we have, and I just want to tell y'all, thank you so much for all your hard work. Myself and the mayor have had the opportunity to work with each and every one of the mayor and the council individually, and y'all are putting so much effort into this, and we just appreciate you. I know the citizens appreciate everything that y'all are doing as well. And I'm not only honored to work with a great board, but I'm also honored to work with a great employee team.
Mm-hmm.
We are a team of 18. So I want to share some of the things that our group of 18 has done for this month for the city of Houston. The police department has four police officers. They work. You'll see them constantly working out there on behalf of the citizens. Since January 1st, we've had 250 incidents. We have written over 58 citations for the month of January alone. If you want to come and experience court in the city of Houston, I encourage you to come next Thursday, February the 15th. This will be in this room at 3 o'clock. And I do appreciate Chief Hill for being here tonight. Thank you. For the Public Works Department, they stay busy. They have removed debris from the Deer Creek cross drain. They check all the city storm systems during the storm events, as y'all recall, from January 9th of, 2024, we had a lot of rain. They have been out, working tirelessly, to try to, get these drains, improved for our citizens. They have also helped with the water department and water and sewer department to jet the Brook Glen sewer lines. They have located sewer manholes along Bell Avenue, Broad Street, West Jefferson, and Hall Street for cleanup. We have had a safety and an MS4 meeting. That's our stormwater. So and the best time to see where our stormwater issues are is during the rain. So if you see an excess amount of water that's standing, we are working on that. So if you ever see it, call us, because more eyes are better than just ours. So if you see any issues with drainage, please call me, and I'll get a work order out there, and we'll get that taken care of. For the water department, EPD came out and did an audit on our water system, and we did great with that audit. We met with Emery and Garrett and the Coulter development for some potential well sites, and our water and sewer supervisor, Mr. Brett Day, actually walked the property with them. So we have not gotten the report back for that to see if we have some good potential wells, but we should be getting that soon, and I will share that with the mayor and council, and we'll also share that on the website. We found some older and buried sewer manholes. We raised 3 manholes to make them visible, so we have been constantly working on that. They have actually been working on that this week as well. And that is just a quick update on what our employee team has done so far, and I'm just so proud of them. We have a great, hard-working team. They wear many, many hats, and I will put our team against anybody else in the state of Georgia. We have a great team.
Thank you. I'm also just over the moon about this team, and thank you all for your great reports and your hard work this past month. Many more months to come. So I hope you all are as well. All right, we're going to go to old business item number 1. This is the Garland Contractors for the Public Works Building, and I am going to turn this over to Council Member Dave Brown for an update.
Thank you, Mayor. As you recall in the last meeting, there was some talk about tabling this to this meeting so we could do some looking at other properties. And I went out, I did a little research on what's going on, and also spoke to Brett a little bit, the Sewer and Water and Public Works people a little bit about what's going on. And as I think what we're finding is, as the council last year, as I did my research, July 17th, at the time it was acting, you were the acting mayor at that time, and you made a good recommendation, I believe, to second the property that we have and the building that we have going with Garland. I do believe the council also voted, the entire council voted yes for it. I think that's a good recommendation, because as we went out there and did the study on it, the property itself that we're talking about is totally out of sight from any visual interference of citizens that live around there. It gives us ample room for future growth if we wanted to take that opportunity. The property we currently own, so we don't have to buy new property. And if you are on the actual tennis courts, I take that back. If you're on the tennis courts or the ball field, it's the only time you ever see that building. The trucks that come in and out are virtually our pickup trucks with trailers on them and so forth. So I would like to see this project move forward as quickly as possible so we can get started. We have it budgeted. It was approved last year, or July 17th, 2023. The only issue we had in the last meeting was that they thought maybe the property was in the wrong location. everything that I've checked and looked at, the property, it seems to be in the perfect location, so I'd like to move forward going that direction if we could.
Any questions from council? Okay. Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
We're gonna go to new business, Creekside Townhomes elevation. Dr. Jerry, if you could take this one for us, please?
Yes, Mayor and Council, you'll remember this project, Creekside Townhomes, was before you a couple of months ago for variance, 2 variances, and then final plat, was last month, which was approved, and as a part of that agreement, Mr. Tripp, who's in the audience tonight, agreed to bring back for the council's consideration the architectural elevations for the townhouse buildings. We've worked with Mr. Tripp to make these comply with the 50% brick or stone rule, and we have a copy of those in front of you tonight, and the staff recommendation is that the council give him the approval for the architecture for his project.
Thank you, Dr. Jerry. Council, do you have any questions, any further questions? Okay, new business, item number 2, resolution 24-03. This is, City of Civility delegation, designation, sorry. We already have, is it an award or a certificate?
Yeah, so, it is an award.
We already have an award for City of Ethics.
I'm sorry.
Are you done?
I was just asking Dr. White if y'all had approved the elevation.
We don't approve until the 20th of February. You're welcome.
Do you have any questions?
Nobody did.
Okay.
Thank you. We already have an award for City of Ethics, and when I attended, it was a new mayor, roundtable meeting in Monroe. They actually talked about a designation of City of Civility. And I asked Jennifer to look into it for me, and I just want to read a couple of things to you in here. The city, the mayor, and the council is to set a positive example of conduct and promotes thoughtful debate. We pledge to build a stronger and more prosperous community. All communications is to be open, honest, transparent, which is vital for trust and our relationships. And that the mayor and council will treat everyone as professionals in a respectful manner. This also talks about we would ask the same from our citizens. So with that said, I would like to be known for the City of Civility, and I hope the council agrees with me that we will give our promise to do that. And if there's any questions, I'll definitely answer them. How about that? Okay. And item number 3, Resolution 2404. This is the property acquisition from the Blankenships. That's why you're all here today, I'm sure. And we are very honored to have Miss Diane and Bobby Blankenship in the house. If you don't know them, they're sitting in the second row here behind Ben. Everybody's waving. That's fabulous. That's fabulous. It's been said by Councilmember Tina Brown and by others. It is we are grateful that you have given the city this opportunity, and this is to acquisition their property. It is 17.109 acres. There will be no loan on this, which means no interest. It is interest-free. It is to be paid by impact fees. Jennifer, how much do we have in impact fees right now?
So, Mayor, as of right now, we have a little over 800,000 in impact fees. And this has to be directly used to buy and acquire, park land. That's the only thing we can use this for.
Boy, do we need parkland. And to talk about that in a little bit more detail, I'm going to ask Dr. Jerry if he would go into that in a little bit more detail, if you don't mind, please.
I'll be glad to, Mayor and Council. Thanks. When I had the opportunity to advise the council on the issue of whether they should purchase the Blankenship property, I was 100% affirmative on that and strongly urged the council to purchase the land for really two main reasons, one of which Councilmember Christina Brown has already articulated some of the real benefits of the fact that this property is centrally located and it has accessibility. It's contiguous to city property already, which makes your footprint bigger for what you can do with the property. And then also, that property, as you can see on the map, it goes deep into city residential neighborhoods, and that gives the opportunity to have access from different neighborhoods into this city, whatever we wind up doing with the property. But secondly, and I think is equally important, is the fact that the city has an impact fee program. The city manager has just indicated we've collected over $800,000 for purchase of parkland, and what we may not realize is just how much land is needed to meet the so-called level of service standard that's put in the impact fee program. And as most everybody knows, the city has approved some 2,000 additional housing units in the last, 4 months, 6 months. And if you do the math on how much the level of service is, it's dozens and dozens and dozens of acres of parkland that we are supposed to collect to purchase, acquire under this impact fee program. And so this property is one of the few that's centrally located, excuse me, and also that it is available for development, excuse me, available for purchase, I mean. And the city is going to have to buy more property very quickly. It's not something that we can sit on for a few years, because as the population grows as quickly as we think it will grow, that demand for park space increases exponentially. And so it's really critical. I know there may have been some concern about the appraisal of the property not matching the amount, but it was estimated in the Park and Rec impact fee program. The amount that was budgeted for property per acre was actually more than what the city's paid in this instance. So it was basically within budget. So it's really important. We want to celebrate this point that the city has added 17 acres to its inventory, but it's not a time to rest because we've got to turn around and look for more. And as you know, with all the development in the city, the opportunities are going to continuously dwindle, and so it's time to keep up the work, especially Councilmember Brown, Christina Brown, to keep her eye on the ball of trying to go to the next step. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Dr. Jerry. Tina, it's obvious everybody has picked up that you're so excited about this property and Parks and Recs in general. Council, do you have anything more to add or to this, or to say to the Blankenships or the rest of the council?
If nobody else does, I did want to, it's really just re-emphasizing things that have already been said, because I failed to mention that it was fully covered by the impact fees. And the very, very generous terms that the Blankenships have allowed, that we've come to, we don't have to empty our accounts immediately, allowing us to continue the search for more parkland. They have been very, very gracious. It's there in the contract, you can see that, but they've gone above and beyond to make sure that Houston is going to be better and greener, and future residents will enjoy it, and I appreciate that. I think that's it. just wanted to point that out, that it's fully funded.
Anybody else on council?
And I'd like to say one thing, Mayor, if you don't mind.
No, please.
And for those that don't know how the impact fee program works, if you don't use the money, you have to give it back, and it goes back to the developers. And that's something that we don't want to do. We want to use it for the right reason, which is to help fund projects that we need in the city without coming out of our citizens' pockets. So as Councilmember Tina Brown mentioned, I'm just so thankful that we do not have to get a loan. It does not come out of our general operating funds, but it is paid fully by the developers.
Yeah. Good. Okay, great. Okay, moving on to new business, item 4, resolution 2024-05, South Water Tank Construction Contract. I'm gonna go to Jerry Hood for this. Jerry?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, as a part of your 10-year water distribution improvement program, a south water tank on Chopina Boulevard was planned about 4 years ago. 2 years ago, you applied for a grant to assist with this project, received a $1 million grant from the Appalachian Regional Commission. You authorized plans and permitting to be done. That was completed, and you received bids earlier this year. You did take alternate bids. We have seen a dramatic increase in cost of construction. In your package, we have a bid tabulation. We took alternate bids on several size tanks. We received 2 valid bids, one from Phoenix Fabricators and one from Caldwell Tanks. They're primarily the 2 major suppliers of elevated water tanks in the South. The base bid was for a 1 million gallon water tank. That was quite ambitious, but we did take alternate bids on smaller tanks because we did anticipate a possible budget overrun. The 1 million gallon tank, the lowest bid on that was $3,800,000. With your soft cost added, that would have required some additional funding. Your original obligation for this project was $3.8 million, with $2.8 million coming from the city. Based on the bids you received, you would have to come up with another right at $425,000 for a total project cost of $4,225,000. Looking at the alternate $750,000, you were still with your 500,000 gallon tank. You'll still have 4 days storage. I think that'll last us probably for another 20 years. Right now, if you with a 1 million gallon tank, you would probably have some problem with water stagnation because your water use is only about 375,000 gallons per day right now. This saves you right at $800,000. Again, we think the 750 will last you for a long time. You may want to look at 10 years from now, a strategically located tank somewhere else in the distribution system. But we recommend council approve the 750 to Phoenix Fabricators.
It's fabulous. Definitely like saving the money.
Yes.
Council, any comments or questions?
I do. And you've already addressed it, but I was concerned initially that the smaller tank, is it worth the savings now and down the road? And Mr. Hood explained that it would be to our advantage to have another location down the road at any rate, just for the total overall water distribution. That a smaller tank now might, when we hit population 15 to 20,000, we may need another tank, but it is better to have another tank than a larger one, another tank in another location as opposed to a larger one now.
Yeah.
So that made sense. And
Yeah, in comparison with your neighbor Brazelton, they are using about 2 million gallons a day right now, and they have 2 million gallons of elevated storage. The one good thing you have going for you is you have a lot of redundancy. Right now you have 2 connections with Brazelton. You're getting water through there. You have 2 connections with Jackson County, and you will have a future connection with Barrow County. So you'll have a lot of connectivity and a lot of redundancy, which kind of negates a little bit of the need for elevated storage. And you're still searching for wells. We do have good contracts with our neighbors, but in case of drought, we'd like to have enough well supply that in a real drought, you could sustain yourself. You probably have to go on water restrictions, but just about like Brazelton, right now they get about 800,000 a day, and they're adding 2 wells that would get them to about 1 million. So if we had a terrible drought and they got cut off from their suppliers, they could still, with water restrictions, sustain, your potable drinking water usage on your wells, and that's one of our goals here in Houston as well.
Yeah.
Mayor, I do have a question. Jerry, could you explain a little bit to how this is gonna help our water pressure and our safety in terms of what the fire department and so forth is gonna do?
It will. In addition to the additional storage, your plan's also, and we'll talk about that in a minute, doing a 12-inch grid throughout the city to improve the flow and the hydraulics in the system. The small tank we have here in town is 100,000 gallons, and that was fine for Houston in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, but we're way beyond that now. But we're also raising the elevation to elevation 1085, which once both of these tanks are online, the 12-inch grid is in there. We'll see fire hydrants flowing at anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 gallons a minute. That will probably lower the insurance rates in the city and also give us the protection we need. And of course, you have a lot more density now. The more densely populated areas, you need more gallons per minute. So that's one of your goals that we've been working on for a good while. But we'll see pressure increases with these two new tanks and the 12-inch grid coming on. We'll see some pressure increases of somewhere around 40 to 50 PSI throughout the city.
Mr. Hood, is there any disadvantage of not going to the 1 million at this point?
I don't see one really. If you were in the 2 million gallon a day range, I'd say let's go, go right now. But I think having another tank site, we've got a couple of sites that you actually own that would probably be okay for a water tank site. I think a third tank would improve the grid overall. It saves a lot of money. I think it's worth the savings. I don't think there's a big sacrifice at all.
Mayor, I'd like to also add that while we were having these discussions, we were brainstorming somewhat. And during the brainstorming, we wanted to look out into the future a little bit because we are coming with a Phase 2 water and sewer treatment plant. The only problem was we didn't really have a Phase 2 lab and office space. So thanks to Jerry and Brett on their brainstorming abilities, they came up with some ideas of if we do go to 750 and we save $800,000, we could possibly take around 500 to 600 of that and actually build a new water and sewer facility out there in terms of new labs. So we'd have better testing for the water. We would have, instead of having one restroom for how many people?
18 down there.
18 people. We might have 2 restrooms now. But it would give an office facility, and the beauty to the whole thing is we have the land right there on the site that we already own. So if we went to the 750, we're not hurting anything in the city or putting anything at jeopardy. We're increasing the water pressure and flow. If we go that way and take the savings and the council and the mayor approve it, we can also build a brand-new lab for our water and sewer treatment plant and be really ready for the future. As the future negotiations on water come forward, we will be set for the future very well. So there are some big advantages that are kind of in the works right now as well.
Good point. And along that line, you can't have a water lab and a sewer lab in the same building. So right now you're not doing hardly any testing on your own water system. So you could convert the lab in the existing wastewater plant to a water lab. It takes a lot less space. And with your new facility, you're going to have more testing to do on the wastewater plant. That'll isolate that. You'll have a new lab for the wastewater plant, and convert the one at the wastewater for water.
Mm,
Save some money, and
That's an
it's always
excellent
good
point.
if you have your own ability to do your own lab testing rather than farming everything
yeah,
out.
yeah.
You get immediate results. You can do a lot more process control. So I think it's a very good plan.
That's a really good point, actually. Just 18 guys with one bathroom kind of freaks me out anyway, so I'm glad about that.
Definitely an issue.
You're in the right place.
That's true. Okay, new business, sorry, was there any more comments about that one before I move on? Okay, great. New business item number 5, resolution 2024-06. This is, phase 1B. 1B to Jerry Hood, phase 2 to council. It's the same thing, though. Distribution system improvements contract.
Yes,
Jerry?
ma'am. Along the same line of your 10-year improvement plan, this extends the 12-inch main from White Street and Broad all the way up to the north tank on West Jackson. We received bids on January 17th. You have a bid tabulation. You actually had 7 bids on that project. That's the most bids we've seen on any project in the last probably 5 years. Some of them weren't competitive. They were way over $1 million, but your lowest bid was with Griffin Brothers. They're an older established company. They are in Banks County. Their bid was just under $1 million, and I think your budget was 1.8